What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down how wide receivers can win every single one-on-one opportunity when you're facing a DB and it is man coverage, okay? So this video is going to be done in our quiz-style format. So if you guys are not familiar with our quiz-style format, I'm going to give you guys 3 different pre-snap scenarios or 3 different post-snap scenarios today, and you guys are going to kind of think about, you guys are going to pause the video, think about how you would approach this, and then I'm going to explain to you what you would do right, okay? So I hope this video helps you guys out. If you guys have any kind of video suggestions or any feedback for the channel, don't hesitate to leave that in the comments section below. So first route is we have an outside shade coverage DB about 5 to 6 yards off, and you have to run a corner route. Okay, so how would you guys approach this? What would you guys do in this specific situation? So you guys can go ahead and pause the video and think about how you would approach that. Outside shade, off man coverage about 5 to 6 yards, and you have to run a corner. All right, so now you guys can play the video. Think about what you guys would do here. Now, if you guys said that you want to attack his leverage and square him up, attack the midline or attack the inside shoulder to get him to backpedal, you would be wrong. Because here's the thing, this DB's outside shade for a reason, right? So this is probably a situation where, again, you see the hash marks are here. This is probably where the outside wide receiver has cut his split down, right? So he cut his split down, he's here. So what do you think a smart DB is going to be thinking? Outside breaking route, because he either cut his split down to run a drag. And again, if he's going to run a drag, if he's outside shade, DB chances are he has safety up to the middle. So that's fine. He could undercut a drag all day long because that DB knows he has to get there. He's expecting an outside breaking route. He's expecting a 10-yard out. He's expecting a corner, which is what we are running. So you don't want to attack his leverage and then try to break off in front of him. What you want to do is you can maybe stem him to the outside a little bit, but you want to take what he gives you, right? You want to attack his leverage and then take the inside release. So if you said attack the leverage, but then work back to the inside and try to restack, you would be correct. So let's watch this thing full speed. So this wide receiver does it textbook, right? He attacks the leverage, works to restack, breaks this thing off so he has space for the quarterback to actually lead him and throw him open. When it's an outside breaking route, trust me, from a quarterback perspective, I love all the space I can get. If you cut this off and break right in front of him and then try to go, I have no space to make that throw. That is such a tight throw because that DB, A, is on your hip, and B, the sideline is right there, and I'm not going to throw you out of bounds. So we have to give him space to throw me open. So when we have this outside shade route against outside shade press or outside shade off man coverage, and we're on the goal line as well, you need to square him up maybe, attack the leverage at first, then take the inside release, work to restack. Now, what's one other thing that maybe you could have done in this situation? Like, let's say this DB played it extremely well and was over the top. You could throw him by. So that's how your mind has to think, fellas. You guys got to have like a plan throughout the route, like what I want to do, but you also have to have a reactionary plan. What if this DB plays it well? What if he's in the right situation? How do I react to that? And then that's going to make you a better receiver. You just always have to and keep it simple. That doesn't mean have like 5, 6 different things that you can do on one route. You just have to be able to react to him based on the coverage and based on the leverage that he gives you. So let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great job squaring him up at first, giving him a move inside, restacking to give that quarterback space to throw him open. Okay, so now second situation we're going to be talking about here is mainly for the top of the route and 2 moves that you guys can use at the top of the route. Okay, so but before I give the situation on this specific play, I want to talk to you guys about a great opportunity we are offering this offseason, fellas. We are traveling out to 9 different cities now for 2-day-long quarterback, wide receiver, and DB training camps. So we're going to be coming out to Phoenix, Arizona in 1 week. Then we're going to be going out to Houston, Texas. We had to postpone that one to March 5th and 6th due to the weather complications in Texas this past week. And then we're going to be coming out to Newark, New Jersey, Atlanta, Georgia, and Columbus, Ohio. We just added that to the camp tour. Then we're coming out to Chicago, Illinois, Dallas, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, and Los Angeles, California. So if you guys want some more information on our off-season training camps, check out that very first link in the description below. And again, fellas, it's probably not even necessarily considered a training camp. It's more so like a clinic because we're only limiting spots to 10 to 12 kids because we want to keep things small. We want this to be like kind of an exclusive thing where we actually are there to help you improve, not just run you through a bunch of different drills. You guys are going to have a bunch of coaches out there with D1 college level experience. I myself will be out there working with the quarterbacks and the wide receivers. So again, fellas, if you want some more information on this and how you guys can get better this offseason in a small group setting for 8 hours total, 2 days total of training, check out that very first link in the description below. If you're local to one of these 8 cities or would like to travel out, we would absolutely love to have you there. Let's get back to this video. So now, first things first with this route. So we're going to assume so this is also going to be a corner route, okay? So corner route, how would you do it against inside shade press, or what are, this is how I want to phrase this question. How would you, give me 2 moves that you would use or could use at the top of the route if you were to take an outside release. So the first situation is if you were to restack. What's one move that you could use? And then if this DB were playing hip to hip with you and you didn't get to restack, what is another move that you guys can use? Okay, so now I want you guys to go ahead and pause the video, think about it. And now we're going to play the video and I'll give you guys the answer. So first things first, if we take the outside release, right, that's taking what the DB gives me. Very similar to what we just talked about. DB's inside shade, watching my hips, right? So I'm giving him a move to the inside, try to keep him honest, take the outside release, but I have to make sure that I stay on this line. But so many people struggle with this outside breaking route. DB's inside shade, they try to just run away. And then you're closing the space down for that quarterback to lead you on this. So two things. If you guys said restack and give a rocker step, you'd be 100% correct. If you guys said when he's hip to hip with you, and you said give him that lean into him like a little chicken wing, what I like to call a chicken wing, where you like lean into him with your elbow and your shoulder, and it's like a way of pushing off without getting a flag. That is also correct. So let's watch this thing full speed. So again, takes the outside release. He's able to restack and hit him with that rocker step, but let's talk about that, right? So let's talk about top of the route. So the only reason he's able to use that rocker step and restack is because he's fighting hands, fellas. Throughout the entire route, we have to make sure that we are combating hands, dipping my shoulder, keeping a good pad level, because whenever it is man coverage, my goal is to get back over the top of him, so he's forced to watch the back of my hips. And the back of your hips can really sell the route, right? So he's able to get over the top, and again, he hits him with that rocker step, selling the inside post, gets that DB to kind of hesitate to the inside and slip, and you see the amount of separation we're able to get, but he stays on this line. That is the most important thing. Now, if this DB were up like a couple steps and playing this thing, running hip to hip with him, stride for stride, able to get hands, you would take your left shoulder, left elbow, and give a little bit of a lean into this guy to make sure that we can, when we break this off, we have some separation and we have some space without this defender being right on my hip for the quarterback to lead me. So that's the thing, fellas. You got to have that plan at the top of the route. I got to have that plan to react off of what this DB does. He runs with me, fine, I could lean into him. He lets me restack, or I'm able to restack. I could use a rocker step, a heavy cut at the top, whatever it is, okay? So that's what I wanted you guys to understand about that clip. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great job taking that outside release, combating the hands, dipping the shoulder so he could restack and hit him with that rocker step. Okay, so now, this route right here, this is not the route that he actually runs, but I want to talk about this. You have an outside shade press coverage DB, and you have to run a fade route, okay? So you have to run a fade route against outside shade press coverage. How would you guys go about it, and what is one thing that you think is extremely important about this fade route after you get off the ball? So you guys can go ahead and pause the video, and now we're going to break this thing down, okay? So now, remember what we've talked about. Outside shade DB for one. And this is a situation that you guys are going to see commonly in one-on-ones. Outside shade guy, because he has safety help. That's the situation they're working in. Again, fellas, I'm not trying to get you prepared for one-on-ones. I'm trying to get you prepared for one-on-one matchups in an actual game situation against a man coverage DB. So the situation they're working here is an outside shade press coverage DB. That means that he has safety help, right? So if you had to run a fade route, what do you think you would do? If you guys said you want to attack his leverage and try to work to the outside because you always want to get an outside release on a fade route, that would be incorrect. That's how a lot of people think, because a lot of coaches brainwash them into thinking that you can only take an outside release on a fade. There are things called must outside release fades. That's a different story. That's not what we're talking about. You're probably not going to get the ball on that type of a fade anyways. Your job is to run the guy off. What you need to focus on doing is, I'm not going to force the release and let him get hands and script the time with the quarterback. I'm going to attack his leverage, hopefully widen him a little bit off the platform, then take the inside release. Now, the one thing that's super important about this now, and it builds off of taking the right release and how you would run it, is restacking. You have to make sure that we restack so I have some space for that quarterback to fade me, right? So again, if I go here and I attack him off the line, I need to make sure that right after I make that move, I am tight to this DB. I'm either trying to get back over the top or I'm running hip to hip with him, right? If you're hip to hip with him, chances are you're probably not going to get the ball, but you just can't run into the safety because you are still one-on-one. You just have to make sure you restack, but not too far to where the quarterback can't fade you, but you have to make sure that we have space for that quarterback to fade me, and I don't just dive bomb to the inside and run right into that safety. So again, I'll play the clip full speed just so you guys can see the release, because he ends up running a speed out here. But again, great job with the release. Like he gives this little hesitation slide to the outside, gets that DB sitting inside, acting like he's going to run like maybe a crossover move into a 5-yard out. So when that DB sits there, let's just take off. And then if this were the situation with the fade, we would go full speed. We wouldn't be kind of chopping his feet like he does, and we'd be able to get back over the top. All right, guys, we want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section. I always appreciate the feedback, and it's always great to hear from you guys per usual. And again, fellas, if you're local to one of those 9 cities that we are traveling out to this offseason, Phoenix, Arizona, Houston, Texas, Newark, New Jersey, Atlanta, Georgia, Chicago, Illinois, Columbus, Ohio, Dallas, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, and Los Angeles, California, we would love to have you out to one of our offseason QB and wide receiver camps. Very first link in that description below. I'll see you guys next time.